Well, welcome everyone. Thanks for being here and meditating with us on our weekly WeAwake meditation. And we always use one of our tracks of our ever expanding library of digital audio powerful tracks to help us train our brains, heal our brains, deal with depression, deal with actualization of who we are at the deepest level, and self-realization, which is waking up and remembering who we really are. So these are several of the things that these tracks help. And today we're going to do a track 2 of digital acupuncture. It's only 20 minutes, so good focus. No, but anyway, this particular track is in training us to Theta, which is that kind of that link between the conscious mind, the unconscious mind, and it's been found very helpful in meditative states and in visionary states and intuitive states of realization, and helping us loosen the stuff that gets in our way, our conditioning and past experience that keeps us from truly relaxing into our true nature and to our souls. So this track not only uses binaural sophisticated brain entrainment technology, but also includes subtle energy. Okay. And it's hard to explain what subtle energy is other than it's subtle energy, but it is effective, and it has a change. It does stuff. And just like we really don't know what electricity is, but we're all pretty sure, I think at this point in our civilization, that electricity does stuff. Well, that's sort of too with subtle energy. I think it's probably along the lines of qi, as they called it in Chinese philosophy and medicine and martial arts and practice and kung fu and all these things. And I have definitely felt the influence of it. And people have been meditating with these tracks for years and have reported they've also felt it. So just relax into it and let the qi of the subtle energy and the brain entrainment together do its work. And you do yours, just to be present and just relax into to whatever work you're supposed to be doing internally. And sometimes it's just being still and being present, sensing, your body, what you're smelling, seeing, hearing, feeling, all of these things. And sometimes it's getting through layers of and knots of dysfunction that keep us from actual being in touch with the deeper levels of our nature, our true essence and our true nature. And there's many words to call that. Our soul, that's a good one. Been around for a while. So let's do that. And see you there in 20 minutes. Welcome back to not exactly what we're welcoming back to, but to having our eyes open and experiencing one another in a slightly modified form when we're looking at each other um, and feeling your presence. Certainly does. And yeah, one thing we learned was really reinforced during the pandemic years that the spiritual work works online. You know, you don't have to be in the same room with a person for therapy to work, for example. You don't have to be in the same space in group meditation or group prayer for there to be power in that. And thank God, it is really good to be together with people, but thank God it works anyway. And I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, I don't know, it was a couple of weeks ago. Hadn't seen him in years, and we got together and Pam and I, we talked for about 3 hours. It was great. And he's a very gifted therapist, and a longtime meditator and spiritual practitioner, and has been through his own, desperate years of uh, separation from his soul, from his true nature, that lonely place that it's so possible to get into, where we feel isolated and cut off from everything and everybody. Very lonely. And but one thing he said to me is, and I wrote it down, he said, the very content of your life, of your mind, etc., is the path. Wow. I think a lot of times we think that the content of our minds, for example, and our emotional selves is somehow what we have to overcome, or we have to get rid of, or we have to stop, or we have to freeze. But it is the past. And as we metabolize that, it becomes energy, becomes fuel for transformation, healing. It opens up to the experience of our true nature. And that's what all this, spiritual stuff is about. Practice is about. It's realizing self-realization, who you are, who God is, who are you in relation to the big self, how that works out. And, having, studying theology or reading, the great sages and everything is really helpful. And having intellectual concepts about it it's helpful. It's good. It kind of points, yourself, your soul in the right direction, but it is not the whole enchilada, if you will. It's not the complete thing. It's the experience of true nature, essence, spirit, that transforms us, and that helps us to see the divine in ourselves and the divine in all things. As the old prophet in the story that I told a lot of times, which I won't repeat, said at the conclusion of the journey, when the pilgrim was looking for the ultimate truth, he said, everything is God, and thou art that. Okay. And where we get lost is when we lose contact with that. And I think that's an essential part of the path, is being separated from that, because in some way that gets us to the level where we're ready to open up in a different way. Like you find in children, some children anyway, they're very seem to be very open to spirit, to their souls, to their nature, and but because of the strange relationship of dependency that human children have with care providers, parents, um, sometimes that gets in the way. We begin to try to control ourselves, and which is good. There's nothing wrong with self-control, but it cuts us off from our essential self, and we get lost, we get lonely, and we get distracted, and it is so easy to get distracted these days. I mean, it's not like we're living in a little cabin, in the woods, and we have to go and milk the chickens and get the cow eggs every morning. That was humor. Anyway, that we have to do those essential things. That's just pretty basic stuff. We live in a world where we're all connected. You know, Donald Trump gets part of his ear shot off, and we all know about it within minutes. How crazy is that? But all that, that can be, it can be a blessing. It can be a good thing, but it has to become our tools, and we don't. We can't become its victims. In other words, we can't just be so taken over by this complex digital informational world where they design all these programs and social media to actually addict you. What makes people just like do this stuff all the time, obsessed, with selfies all the time and put it out there and blah blah blah, all this stuff. And I would like to think that's okay, because it gets us to a place where finally we go, yuck, it's really empty. There's something missing, and I really feel lonely, and I really feel cut off, and I don't feel any purpose, and I don't feel meaning, and I feel useless, and I don't feel like my life I'm doing anything that really matters, and I don't know if I matter. Maybe this is just it's just a big game. We're born and we go through all this stuff, and our technology just overwhelms us, and somehow we lose touch with the deeper wisdom. And I think that doesn't have to be like that. Uh, uh, Obviously, CEO of a company, WeAwake Technologies, we're using technologies to help people meditate, help people pray, to help people self-actualize, become the best potential versions of themselves, and to self-realize, right? Self with a big S, who am I at the deepest essential level? What is that? And when we touch into that, that is a liberation of the soul. That is enlightenment. That's not the end of the journey, because we don't know if it doesn't seem to have an end or a beginning. It seems to be beyond time, and time and space are just interesting dimensions that come out of the great mystery. God, if you will, or however you want to say that. But when we lose contact with that, we become, well, I mean, maybe we can be happy for a while, living in that distracted, constant stimulation, this, that, have fun, make money, do stuff, and all that's all well and good. But if it's just a distraction that keeps you from your true nature and what really matters, and what your little dinky self, is an expression of in this larger picture, which we keep finding out. Science keeps showing us is bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. It's but that's okay, because we are the universe learning about itself. Not like we come into the world, we're separate from our true nature, or from what we really are. We are that, and that we can find in our deepest selves the answer and the solutions to what we're looking for. But sometimes, just like in the biblical story, the Garden of Eden, right, where Adam and Eve, ate from the tree, and anyway they fell. They got this original innocence, and walking with God and all that was cut off. We went into this world of, where humanity started evolving and becoming, civilizations and everything that we reach now. It was, and I think in Catholic theology they call it felix culpa, happy fault, happy fall. So what I'm trying to say is that our pain and our separation that we can feel at a certain level of our development is okay. That is the path, and it's a necessary part of waking up and realizing who and what we are in a complete holistic manner that includes the mind, but is not simply the intellectual mind. It's something more vibrant and deeper. And when we touch into it, it changes the story. So, bless your depression, bless your lostness, say thank you. And because that's part of the path. And the way it seems that we find the light or the truth is in the darkness and the individual process of the human soul, moving from, just an ego, selfie self, to a deeper, more essential self. Yeah. So if you feel sad, if you feel numb, if you feel cut off, if you feel depressed, if you feel overwhelmed by the world, that's okay. And be with that, in your inner work and your meditation. And, ask what is it, in this process is keeping me separate from what I'm looking for, what my heart and soul hungers for. And if you feel numb, just say, well, what is this numbness about? Help me through this. Help me to be hungry again, and that will lead you to the search, to the cushion, to the interior work that is part of the liberation of our souls and waking up and discovering who and what we are in this great, mysterious, incredibly amazing universe that just keeps blowing the scientist's mind over and over and over again as they, when they try to find simple mathematical statements that explain it all. It doesn't work. But because that can only take us so far. A dissociated science has a lot of good things, but ultimately it can't take us to the ultimate realizations. And I'm really going on for a long time, so I'll stop that. So yeah, go deep, right? Find God there. Okay, thanks for this. And like I said, if nothing else, you can use my talks as sleep aids. If you're not being able to sleep, I just put this on a loop or something. So anyway, thank you, everybody. Love you, and God willing, we'll be here next time.